So for this assignment, I created a computer program using the software ChucK, and my program will create music. So ChucK is a program developed by Go Wang, who is actually an assistant professor here at Stanford. And his program takes in numbers as frequencies and then plays them on your computer as musical instruments. And he created this, and it's actually used in the Stanford Laptop Orchestra, which he's also a founding director of. So I'm going to play you an example. So when I was first playing around with ChucK, I was using random frequencies. And as you can probably guess, this did not sound great. And I'll play you a quick example of what that would have sounded like. Um, yeah, so not great. And because this sounded pretty awful, it made me realize that there's got to be some sort of underlying conditional probability within music. So the first step I did to make this program sound nicer was to make sure all the notes were played in the same key. And I did this by assigning frequencies to each piano note and then creating keys based off of these notes. So this would have sounded like, so if we're playing in C4, for example, and these are random notes within C4. Okay, so sounds a little bit better, but I wouldn't say it's music. There's a little bit of room for improvement there. So after this, I did a lot of research into music theory, which I knew nothing about, and I used conditional probability to determine which note would be played given the note that was played before. So this way, when a note's played, I used some ideas within music theory to decide which note would sound kind of more congruous with the note that was played before. So I'll show you an example. This is the code that I wrote, and I'll start from the top. And just a quick overview. Here are some of the notes, the frequencies I assigned to notes, and the keys that I created. And then down here we actually have the an example of some of my conditional probability. So you can see that a random number is generated, and then depending on what that random number is, another note is played. So in this case, when the first note of a key is played, the most likely note that will be played will be the key that is 2 next to it. And this is pretty similar for all of them. They're all arranged a little differently. So I assign probabilities to each of the notes. And then down here we will play. So here you input the scale that you want to be the melody and the harmony. And now we can actually play what it would sound like. So I'll type ChucK. Okay, so there's a quick example. And I just want to show you, so because I inputted so many keys, you can really change these to whatever you want. So my personal favorite, or one of them, is making it a little bit higher. And so you can change some of these to be a higher scale. And then it sounds a bit like this. So basically that's what I created. It's pretty cool. You can change this to really be whatever key you want, whether it's super low, super high. I've inputted most of them. You can change around the probabilities if you actually have access to the program. I prefer the sound to be a little bit faster, so my probability leans towards quicker notes rather than whole notes. And it really just depends, like what kind of music you want to create. So, thank you.